So for those of you who are not familiar with eMarketing, let me just start with an introduction of who we are. We are an expert in training for e-marketing courses, and we are WSQ approved training organization, which means that the course fees are SkillsFuture credit and NTUCU tab eligible. So feel free to look up our website. And of course, when we say that we are the experts in e-marketing, it also goes to, well, we also practice what we preach, right? So you should be able to find us easily when you search for our name, eMarcity, and from there you should be able to see the courses that are on offer and available. And if you have some courses related to digital marketing that you couldn't find on our list, feel free to contact us. The contact details are available from the website as well, and you can let us know, and that could give us an idea of what kind of courses to set up as well to cater to your needs. So feel free to get in touch with us, and some of you are already on our distribution list for updates. Well, you can continue to receive updates from us. And within the chat now, you should see the website address, emarcity.com. That's us. Okay, and next, let me introduce myself. My name is Teh Siew Yee, and I'm a consultant and a trainer for topics related to data science, artificial intelligence, and robotics. And I've been working in this field that's related to data for more than 20 years. And my work experience has been in both Singapore and France. And my career history, I have been the head of Asia Pacific regional head in a global MNC before, as well as being member of worldwide councils. And in my past roles, I've also held a director role as analytics director, as well as head of the data department in a company. And the industries that I've been involved in includes technology companies, telco, banking, aerospace, e-commerce, B2B, retail, social media advertising. Well, the range of industries here is because I've been involved in consultancy work where my clients are from quite a wide range of industries, and that's how I ended up being involved. So of course, for those of you who are interested to pursue your career and widen yourself in the area of digital marketing, the breadth of industry certainly will enrich your experience as well. My academic background, my first degree is actually in robotics and automation. And after my first degree, I went on to take 2 masters, one in marketing and the other in artificial intelligence. So that's how that digital marketing came into picture to be combined as my area of expertise. On top of that, I'm also a Mensa member. So that's me, my background. So what we are going to talk about this evening, 2 things. We are going to talk about data visualization because this is talking about data visualization with Looker Studio, right? So we're going to ask ourselves, data visualization sounds like it's becoming a big thing. Well, in part, it is because a lot of people now start to talk about data. You know, data analytics, data science, data this, data that. And because data is becoming a common topic, therefore, people also talk about how do you visualize data? And well, the question then is, data visualization, what's the big deal, right? You can just, well, simply describe your scenario in a certain way. So let's look at that. Why is data visualization such a big deal? And of course, then we move on to talk about Looker Studio. What exactly is it? What can it do? And how does it benefit us? So this is what we'll cover within the short time that we have today. And I'd like to repeat, any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to unmute and ask your question, or just type it out in the chat as we go along. So let's try this. Okay, let's find a way to communicate this. Let me read this to you. Imagine you are reading this report, and then you as the business owner or you as the director or manager trying to make a decision after you read this. So let me read to you. February sales dropped by $610 compared to January, which was $8,840. March sales picked up to $9,011. And then April and May sales went further up to $9,204 and $9,238 respectively. Unfortunately, June sales dipped to $9,127. Now, after you read all of these, let me ask you, you need to make a decision now. Based on the above, should you change your current campaign strategy or don't change? So imagine if you are the manager who has to make the decision about your campaigns, what would you say? Okay, now just type it out in the chat or unmute yourself. You can say, well, based on your thinking, based on this report, what would you do about your current campaign strategy? You keep going the same way, keep running your ads the same way, or are you going to change anything? Okay, what would you say? Well, it's a small group today, so just feel free to give your answers and interact. What do you think? Okay, just read this slowly and try to digest the information. And look at this, right? It says February sales drop, and then March, April pick up, May picked up, June also dropped. So now got up and down, right? So what do you do? If you are being asked to make a decision about your campaigns, what would you do? Well, there's no right or wrong answer. We can just open it up for discussion. This is just to get us to interact. So feel free to just give your answers. Anybody? Even if you are not a manager now, doesn't matter. Just a hypothetical scenario, right? That okay, Damien says plot a line graph for sales against time from Jan to June and observe the gradient. Wow. Thank you. You didn't answer the question of whether should change the campaign strategy or not, but you suggested what we can do. Okay, thank you, Damien. Anybody else? What would you say? How would you make your decision? So let's say you don't have the visuals right now, right? Just by looking at this report, what would you do? Anybody else? No? Come on, anybody? I'm sure you have come across this kind of paragraphs before, and then perhaps you have read some companies' annual reports trying to imagine what all these numbers are, trying to make sense out of it, right? So in this case, if you're just given a paragraph like that, what would you do? Anybody else? Damien, thank you. So the answer is correct. What we need to do is we plot, well, either a line graph or a bar chart, something that helps us to imagine, or rather help us to picture how to make sense out of all these numbers here. Because when we just read numbers, it's very hard for us to relate, right? So you say drop by 600, so is that high, is that low? And then you say this is 9,000 something, 9,000 something, go up, go down. So go up by how much? Go down by how much? So when we just read numbers in the words, in the text form, it's very hard for us to digest the information. So when we say we are trying to communicate something across to an audience, either to your board members, to your management team, to your marketeers, to whoever, right, even to your customers, this is where having a visual is helpful for us. Just like the example we gave here, when we just read this alone and you say, okay, come on, make a decision. change or don't change the campaign strategy? It is a bit hard, right? Because you will spend a long time trying to imagine the numbers. Perhaps you pull out calculator, tap a few numbers, trying to calculate, hey, is this high, is this low? But when you put it into a graphical form like this, okay, January, February, all the way until June, these are my numbers. Okay, February was bad, probably because Chinese New Year was there, people traveling, not buying anything. Okay, given. Then when it comes to April, May, June, okay, so you get to see now that, hey, look, actually the difference is not so bad, right? It's going up after the holiday period of January, February, March, April, May picking up. June dip a little, maybe because people going away, June holidays, not buying things, and then, it may pick up again. So question is, do you change your campaign strategy? Yes or no? Both answers are correct, because you can see that if you don't change, well, the trend seems to show that it's somewhat going up. If you change, yes, that's also possible. So this is where it's helpful for us to have some visuals to help us in decision making. So this is what we mean by let's communicate using visuals. And this is what visualization is about. Okay, so let's talk about then what do we really mean by data visualization? What exactly is this, right? So when we say data visualization, what we really mean is the graphical representation of information and data. You can use charts, you can use all these line graph, bar, pie chart, table. Well, perhaps tables is not a good example unless it is colored in some way. So what we mean by visualization here is use visual elements like charts, graphs, maps, so that this visualization will provide us an accessible way to see and understand trends, outliers, patterns. So from the visual, it's very helpful for us to straight away be able to see, okay, it's going downward. Oh, it's actually flat, not changing much. That kind of trend. Or perhaps you're looking at, this product is selling a lot more compared to these other products. So that proportion in comparison is helpful compared to just reading numbers like what we are doing just now, right? So this is what we mean by data visualization. And here are some examples of what a visualization can look like. You can still have some numbers just to report the actuals, the objective numbers of how many customers you have, how much is your sales, and then what is your forecast shown in a chart. You have your sales funnel in funnel shape, you have a distribution across the geography, sales by region. So this is an example of what a visualization can look like. Okay, now, next thing, let's try this exercise. Can you count how many number threes are there within this set of numbers? Okay, just do a count, and then you can either type your answer or you can speak up to tell me what your answer is. Okay, just look how many trees are there. Need to stare for a while. Okay, Damien, thanks for your answer. 4. How about the others? How many do you manage to count? Nicole, 4 as well. Okay. Anybody else? Rina, thanks. 4. Anybody still counting? Yeah, thanks to those of you who are really staring at the screen and counting. I hope I don't make you more tired after a long day. But thanks for doing that. Now, let me ask you the same question, but now slightly different. How about now? Can you count how many trees are there? This is a lot easier, right? you can quickly see that, oh, there's 4 number 3s out of all these sea of numbers here. But what did I change? I actually didn't change any of the information, all the data at all. And all I did was I changed the way these numbers are being presented. I changed the colors. I didn't change anything else. The information are all still intact. It is just a matter of how I have presented this information to you to help you answer that question. How many trees are there out of all of this? So this is exactly what we mean when we say visualization. It is a matter of how you present your data and information. It is not about changing the information to just highlight this, highlight that. It's not so much about that, but it's a matter of what is your method of presentation such that it makes it easy for people to capture a certain conclusion, capture a certain insight out of all the information that you have. Okay, so then let's ask ourselves, what is considered good data visualization? When I say good, that means, of course, also got bad visualization, right? So what is good, what is bad? Okay, so a good visualization is something that tells the story clearly. That means when you want to present information, you're able to link it up and say, okay, this is the total sales that we have for the year to date. And then next question is, oh, current year to date is so much, then which one good, which one bad? Then you link up to another chart and say, okay, I know you're going to ask, so I already have this information. The breakdown of from January to June is like that. Which one is high, which one is low? Then perhaps the next question people would most probably want to ask is, oh, the sales like that. So which product selling well, which product not selling well? Then you also have breakdown of the product. So there is a continuation of the charts that tells a story, and that is being presented in a graphical form in order to relate to what questions people have and they're trying to give the answer. So that is what we mean by data visualization. And at the same time, we want to avoid any distortion of information. Just like when I talk about count how many trees, none of the information is being distorted. In order, I didn't hide some of the number 3 here and there and then say, oh, the previous one, I go and hide something. No, all the information are intact, all the information are accurate, and there's no distortion. And we also need to avoid the use of representations that don't accurately represent the data set. Sometimes pie charts are not so good because when we see proportion of the segment within the pie, sometimes we can't really tell if they are equal, slightly larger, slightly smaller. So those with very slight differences, it's hard for us to visualize. So that's why sometimes we will say pie chart is not the best way to compare proportion. Okay, but of course there are uses for pie charts in some contexts, and also 3D. Because 3D is being presented in somewhat sometimes slanted manner, and which bar is higher, which bar is lower, that doesn't give a lot of clarity in a 3D view. So for good visualization that you want to give information in a very direct and plain manner, the recommendation and the best practice is avoid 3D charts. 3D is good when you want to make your presentation fancy. When you say, oh, this is just an illustration as an example, yes, you can do that. But not when you want to intentionally communicate facts and figures. Okay, and good data visualizations can also lead to the viewers to be able to derive conclusions and gain insights from just reading your charts without distorting any of the data. Okay, so this is what visualization is. This is what good data visualization is. So let's again look at this. So this is from many years ago, some 10 years ago, right? But this is an actual newspaper clipping. This is actual newspaper clipping from Straits Times. So look at this. Singapore non-oil domestic export seems to be going up, trending upwards, right? Based on the chart here. And well, up to July 2010 is 18.2% growth, right? So let me ask you, if you're involved in non-oil domestic trading, right? What is going to be your decision in this case? Because you see this as an upward trend, so are you going to be more aggressive in your promotion so that you can sell more? Or are you going to cool off and, perhaps not sell so much? You can try to diversify and focus on something else. What would you do? What do you think? Anybody? Need to think. Yeah, of course, need to think, right? So, well, Rina said diversify. Yeah. Okay, good suggestion. But let's look at whether there's anything wrong with this whole thing. Okay. Now, what happened here is, this is actually a snapshot out of a much longer trend. And they have picked up from the lowest point and tell you up to current, oh, this is a trend, upward trend. But it doesn't tell you that historically it was already somewhat there around that range, and it has gone on a dip and now it came back up. So then, it actually tells you a different picture, right, compared to this, because you would imagine, oh, it's going upward and possibly keep going up, but actually it may not be so. It was just reverting back to what was the previous range, if you were to look at it at a much longer range, a date range. So this is where we say snapshots can be misleading. So in data visualization, one of the bad practices is you are taking data that could be misleading and causing people to have wrong conclusions. So these negative example. Okay, now let's look at another one. Look at this, huh? So tourism, now this again, very old newspaper clippings from 10 years ago. So look at these numbers here. Tourism from China is having these numbers and now coming up to these numbers here. So it is telling you that, wow, from number 6, now it has gone up to number 2, and these are the number of visitors to Singapore from China alone. So then, what is your marketing strategy, or what is your campaign strategy? You would want to have China as one of your main target audience in this case, right? Visitors from China. Would you say so? What do you think? Or regardless of trend, that has always been your marketing strategy anyway. Okay. Anybody? What would you do? You would agree that this is upward trend for China visitors? Okay, I'm just talking about historically now, during that period from 10 years ago. Well, what happened was, it took away a gap and just told you, okay, year 2000 like that, year 2009 like that. So between the 9 years, this is what happened. But it doesn't tell you, look at this, this is China, this line here. It went up, up. Yes, correct. But what about the recent years for that period of time, which is a bit longer one? It actually went down. And again, this is an actual newspaper clipping that they have presented. Okay. And so again, this is where an example of what is a bad visualization, right? It leads people to draw a wrong conclusion and possibly make wrong decisions about how they want to go about with their marketing. So this is what we mean when we say good visualization and bad visualization. Okay. So with that, let's now move on to talk about, now that we have understood what is visualization, let's move on to talk about Looker Studio. What exactly is Looker Studio here? Okay, Looker Studio is a free tool that turns your data into informative, easy to read, basically visualization, right? So you're able to create dashboards, reports using Looker Studio. And formerly, as what Inyao has mentioned earlier, it was formerly known as Google Data Studio. Now it is Google Looker Studio. And it was introduced by Google in 2016 as part of the Enterprise Google Analytics 360 suite. Well, within this Looker Studio, you can sign up, you can have the free account, you can use it for free. And of course, there are also certain features that will be turned on only if you subscribe to a paid service. Okay. So in 2016, it was being announced that there is this free version. So currently, Looker Studio is part of Google Marketing Platform. So if you have Google account, which I will presume most of you would already have, you can actually just sign up for it and explore Looker Studio. So then let's look at what is it that Looker Studio can do for us, right? So let's break it down to three broad categories. Number one, it helps you to visualize your data. We talked about what visualization means earlier. So this is the tool that can help you to get on with all the visualization. But in order to achieve that visualization, you will need data, right? So where does your data come from? Your data can be stored within your own local machine, your laptop, your desktop, your server, anywhere. And there is a need to connect to your data as well from Looker Studio, right? In order to create that kind of visualization. So Looker Studio gives you that ability to not just create visualization, but also help you to have a connection to your data sources so that you can pull the data to create this kind of visualizations. And the third thing that it helps you is you're able to share the data that you have created. So let's zoom in to look at these each of these categories of features. So when we say visualize your data, it means that you can tell your data story using charts. Charts, which means that include line graph, bar graph, pie charts, geographical maps, areas, bubble graphs, paginated data tables, pivot tables, etc. So that is what we mean by the ability to visualize data. Okay, and it also allows you to make your reports interactive with filters. That means you're able to select what is the category of data you want to look at. For example, if your data is showing a range of products, you can select, you can filter for product family if that is available as a grouping within your data. You can also select or filter for a certain range of data as your controls. And this can also be further turned into a report with a template that anybody can use. So this interactive element is also another thing that's available in Looker Studio. Now, if reports are not interactive, it means that they are static. Static report means that it's as if you're just looking at a paper and you cannot click on anything. Even if you click, it doesn't change anything. And that is what we mean by non-interactive or static. Sometimes reports come to you in a PDF form, and there is nothing that you can click on to filter, to regroup your data. So that is non-interactive. Now, Looker Studio can also allow you to insert and include links and click clickable images so that you can bring people to your website or to your landing page, to your homepage, to any particular area where perhaps you have more details, more information that people can read about. Perhaps you have a news article, a blog, somewhere that could elaborate on parts of the chart. So you can actually insert this kind of links and clickable images into your charts. And you can also annotate. Annotate means you add remarks or comments and brand your reports with text and images. Images could be like icons, little icons or little arrows here and there that you want to insert, or perhaps your company logo. So these are the things that you can do with Looker Studio as well. You can also apply styles and color themes in order to enhance your charts. So these are the things that you can do in Looker Studio. And when we say connect your data, that means the data underneath all your visualizations, right? You can actually report from a wide variety of data sources and don't need to do programming, don't need to type all your SQL. Well, of course, unless you need to extract the data from the source with certain SQL statement in order to filter, okay, that is within the database, right? But otherwise, you can actually connect direct to the databases, including BigQuery, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and it can also connect to your Google Marketing Platform products like your Google Ads, your Google Analytics, Display Video 360, Search Ads, and so on. So these, well, within the Google Marketing Suite, right, you can connect among all these Google products. And of course, you can also connect to your Google consumer products like your Google Sheet, your YouTube, Search Console, and also flat files. Flat files means that it's just a file like a .txt file with data or with just text and numbers. So that is a CSV, which stands for Comma Separated Values file that you can upload. You can even take it from Google Cloud, which is your Google Drive storage. And you can also link to social media platforms such as Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. And you can also blend your data. That means you combine and merge your data from any combination of related sources. So that is what you can do in connecting your data. And of course, after you've created your visualizations, you can share your insights with people, with either one person, individual, or to a team, to the whole world, that you can to share this and publicize. Or you can invite others, specific people, to view and edit report. So you can collaborate with people to complete a certain dashboard or the report within Looker Studio as well. And you can send them links, schedule emails. That means you want to have a distribution list where you update people about, hey, look, what's new? And then these are the trending items that you have. And you can also tell your data story as broadly as possible and embed it within reports, such as your Google Slides, your blog posts, your marketing articles, annual reports. So just now when we talk about connecting data, right, you're taking data from those sources and then put it into Looker Studio to create your visualizations. So now this one is the other way around. You have already created your visualizations. You want to have the other pages tick your visualization and insert as content of those pages or those reports. So this is another way that you can share as well. So when you share a Looker Studio file with another editor that can make changes or make modifications, you can collaborate and work on it together in real time as a team and discuss and then collaborate, work on it. And the good thing is, because it is web-based, you don't have to be sitting in the same room. You can even be connected through the internet, even across different countries, across different geographical locations. It doesn't matter. All these will be able to be worked out when they are using Looker Studio. Okay. So, question, how to access Looker Studio? One way is, of course, you can go to Google and search Looker Studio. It will definitely come out with the link one. This is a Google product. You do a Google search, sure come out. Okay. And of course, the other way is lookerstudio.google.com. That is the way how you can get into Looker Studio. Okay. So any questions up to this point? Let me just pause to see anybody want to ask anything about Looker Studio before we carry on. No? Okay. Now, let me go into a demo session. Yes, looks like some questions here. Okay, Rina, thanks. Okay, if there are no questions, then let me go into a demo. Okay, let me just clarify. The session today is not to teach you how to build charts in Looker Studio. This is just an introduction about why data visualization is important and what Looker Studio is all about. So if you want to learn the actual steps of how to build charts, how to use all the different features of Looker Studio, that will be a different session. Okay, so let me just do to show you what Looker Studio look like. So it just let me log in. Hang on. Oh, okay. Mine has timed out. So it logged me out. Let me log in again. Give me a minute. Let me get in. Okay, let me share my screen here. Okay, this is what Lucas, you can create a free account. In fact, you can just log in with your Google account. And this is what you can see when you have logged in. You can create, and then these are the recent ones that that could have been worked on, shared with me, owned by me, and then the ones that you throw away into the trash bin and their templates. So this is where you can specify the reports. Now, the good thing is when you say create a report in this case, okay. Yeah. Okay, this one will require some questions. Wait, I'm not able to scroll down. Hang on, huh? Okay, apologies for that. So here, this is the Looker Studio that allows you to connect. And you can choose what are the data sources that you want to have. Okay, sorry. I navigated away from here. Well, what is the good thing about here is there are also templates that are available to have a quick start for you to have a quick start to building up your reports. So there is also a tutorial that's available for you to go through a self-help. There are instructions on how to create charts, and these are the content that's available within the help section as well. So this is an example of what a chart, or in fact a dashboard. So what's the difference between a dashboard and a report, right? A dashboard is made up of many different charts, where each of these charts alone is a report. So one dashboard, many reports, okay? Because each of these charts will have to be built individually by a different data set. So this is an example of, so this is a sample report that is available once you sign in, and you can actually make a copy of these to edit, because you may say, yes, this geographical map is applicable to me, this line chart is applicable to me, I just want to connect it to a different data set, and then this line graph, these horizontal bars are also applicable. So this is an example that you can pick, and in fact, this is not the only one. There are also other examples that you are able to look for from Google and adopt them in order to start with something instead of starting from a blank page. So this is just a brief introduction of how it looks like and what it's able to do for you. Any questions from anybody? Okay, if no questions, then let me come back to the slides here. General questions? No? Okay. If there are no questions, then let me further introduce ourselves to you. In Emarcity, these are the kind of courses that we offer: e-commerce, digital advertising, Google Analytics, social media management, content strategy, and these are the key topics that will be covered within each of these different courses. And these are the fees after without GST. And of course, a reminder that you can make use of SkillsFuture and NTUC UTAP to participate in these courses. And to find out more about upcoming webinars, you can scan this QR code, or you can go to our webpage, emarcity.com/upcoming_webinar. So that's where, of course, if you subscribe to updates, you will also receive information about what's upcoming, what else you get to learn about in our upcoming webinars. Okay. Well, with that, that's the end of our session today. If there are no further questions, thank you for joining us.